I'm going to call to order the Thursday, October 14th, 2021 Spokane Park Board meeting. We are meeting virtually by WebEx, and we have some call-ins. Do we have a call-in number 4? Yes, and is that Deb Ritter by any chance?
It is, yes.
Wonderful. Well, all right, Deb. So before we get to you, I'm going to ask if we have any additions or deletions to the agenda. Hearing none, and I know that Deb is here for some public comment. And Deb, I've seen your note. It's most thoughtfully written. Thank you. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, so do I just read the note, or how does this work? I haven't done this before.
Fine. Maybe introduce yourself.
Excellent.
Being from Grant Park. So.
Great. All right. Thank you. So I am Deb Ritter. I'm a parent, a scientist, and a neighbor living near Grant Park in Perry District. I thank the Parks Board for the opportunity to speak and also to listen in to the meeting. We decided to buy our house in 2017 near Grant Park, as we have little kids and love the park. Through living nearby, I have observed a lot. I've realized how essential parks are for community building, how active and used the park is, and what a resource it is for the neighborhood. So I've been involved in the Grant Park Community Garden too, and have helped to manage and run it this year. So I sincerely thank Spokane Parks for the help and advice and work for our new water-saving drip irrigation system, which was sponsored by the Avista Foundation. I just want to check, is the audio okay?
Yes, we read you loud and clear. Keep going.
Great. Okay. So I'm here to express concern about safety in the Spokane parks, enforcement of park rules and regulations, and about the need to have a dedicated policing and response for what I call negative use of parks. That I define as, drug use, trash, explicit music, off-leash dogs, etc., and especially when any of these occur near kids' playgrounds and activities. So it's the proximity of these near children that's the most disturbing, and a lack of heightened restrictions or enforcement responses based on that proximity. So I call crime check often, and I see a lot that's going on, near the lot from my house. And I know that there's no response to most of the crime check calls, despite it being less than about 10 feet from a children's splash pad and playground. I know that from working with the SPB&A, the South Perry Business and Neighborhood Association, and with our neighborhood police, as well as Captain Tracy Meidel that attended the SPB&A meetings frequently, policing in parks is a very challenging issue. So there is the interest from the Spokane Police Department to have their role as enforcement and neighborhood safety. And from my understanding, they do not want to relinquish this responsibility to parks, and parks also has other resource demands. So essentially there results in minimal policing and enforcing of park rules for the majority of our parks. This means negative use can easily overpower positive and drive usage away from parks. So it's my thinking that one negative experience, such as one of our early experiences, which was finding a drug needle when we were out walking with our child, outweighs positive experiences. So I want to ask the Parks Board, I know that there are ways to prioritize crime check requests. So for instance, they prioritize domestic violence. Those go to the top of the response queue. And I wanted to ask about exploring prioritizing police response to negative park use when it's in proximity to children's playgrounds or activities where they're present. So I don't know the whole process for prioritizing crime check calls. And ultimately, I'm interested in expanding park rangers and the policing presence for the parks. But I know that there are financial considerations and many others. But I wanted to kind of get one small step, which might be prioritizing these when it's in proximity to children, so that the exposure of children to unsafe environments or negative experiences is lessened when they're using our parks. So I thank the Parks Board for the dedicated work you do and for the amazing park system in Spokane, and I look forward to learning more about parks enforcement and about how I could help. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. First of all, I wanted you to know, in case you haven't checked your email today, I did respond to you. I was so impressed by your letter, by its thoughtfulness, by the thoroughness of your understanding of the issues. you know, the limited resources, both personnel in terms of police presence and others. And by your willingness to help, that I responded to you in an email prior to this meeting.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, but I wanted to let you know that we are very aware of these issues. It is a conundrum for us. And we're very concerned for the safety of our kids in our parks, and we are in ongoing discussion with the SPD about these kinds of issues and the role our park rangers can play, and Garrett can speak more to that in just a minute. I wanted to let you know that one of the things that we're doing is forming and encouraging the formation of friends groups in our parks, and Grant Park needs a friends group, and you would be perfect. Your articulate response, your understanding of the issues, your participation in the community garden, which I've seen, I've been to, and even donated some plants to at one point through another organization.
Yay!
So great community garden. That you're the kind of person that we want to be involved. And if you join us as a friends group, or even the start of a friends group as a party of one, we are having a meeting October 28th at the Carousel. You are going to be receiving an invitation shortly to come. It's between 4 and 6 at the Carousel to introduce all the different friends groups to each other, to share contact information, to share information about what the projects are in the various parks, what the needs are, what the concerns are, and to form a citizen advisory committee to the park board from all of these friends groups to exactly engage these issues and find solutions. So
that's wonderful.
The structure that we're trying to create, I would welcome you with open arms, being somebody from Grant Park. See if there are other neighbors who would join you, but you'd be a perfect spokesperson for that group. And Garrett, did you want to address some of the SPD issues for a minute?
Sure, I'd love to. And thanks, Deb, for your words. And it's nice hearing your voice and your ongoing support for Parks and Recreation. And there's a couple different avenues here that we're working on. One is from just a citywide effort, and I'd like to thank too Councilmember Cathcart for his support on that. He sits on that committee as well, as we look at some of these troubled areas and looking at our response time, where the gaps are in the system, how do we grow that response time? Because I think from a staff perspective, what hurts us the most, or hurts our heart the most, is when the citizens do not feel comfortable utilizing our park or do not feel safe using our parks. So we're working with Chief Meidel and his staff. They've been a great support mechanism for us. And also too, we're working on long-term strategies too, from local, working with SPD, but then also at the state level. Recently in July, the limited commission of a lot of our organizations, including our Park Ranger program, were taken away. So we're looking at avenues to be able to either bring that back, or how it looks in a different form to be able to enforce park rules, once again, with the support of the police department. And then also too, later today, a part of our proposed 2022 budget is some additional temp seasonal dollars for additional park ranger resources for some of our outer parks as well. So would love to be in continued conversation with you, Deb, on how we can work together and any ideas that the neighborhood has. There's been other neighborhoods like Brown's Addition and others that we've been working with very closely as well. And so let's keep in contact, and just know that we're working behind the scenes as well to resolve some of these long-term issues that we've been having.
So if October 28th works for you, we look forward to seeing you there. If that doesn't work for your schedule, contact me. You have my contact information, and let's have coffee.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. And I'm very interested in the, Friends of Grant Park. I already have like a phone group, a text group of neighbors that I contact when there's issues. So thank you very much.
Then you've already got it going. Great. Awesome. All right. Other public comment, just to make sure that I'm not leaving anybody out. Hearing none, we'll move on with the consent agenda. Park board members, you see 5 items on the consent agenda. Is there any park board member who wishes an item removed from that consent agenda? If not, I will move the entire consent agenda be passed as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
And any other discussion? All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda as presented signify by saying aye. Maybe wave.
Aye.
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 Opposed? The consent agenda passes. All right. We have no special guests, though we have a special discussion item coming up. But first, we need to hear from Mark Buning.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm excited to believe we're already closing out our third quarter here, and I will attempt to share. Yesterday when I was sharing, I was having some technical difficulty, but it was working earlier when I was testing things, so hopefully everything will work fine. Okay. All right. So far, good. All right. There's our overall year-to-date financial report through the third quarter, through the end of September. And looking at our first slide here, we see a comparison of our actual expenditures through September with our historical two-year budget average. We see that the actuals are very close. Actuals actually slightly exceeded the budget average, and that average was brought down by the anomaly of last year's quite low expenditures, given being a COVID year. And then, however, compared to last year, expenditures are about $2.8 million more, reflecting the robust opening of the parks program this season. So with our aquatics program nearly full recreation season, increased maintenance in our operations. So that was all reflected in our higher expenditures. And please, if there's any questions or comments as I go through this report, please interrupt and let me know. So move on to the second slide. Here we look at our year-to-date revenues compared to the historical budget average. And as we can see, the two are quite close. Actual revenues exceed the budget by about $440,000. Total revenues exceed last year's revenues by about $2.3 million. And the revenues are derived primarily from parks activities this year, mostly in recreation and Riverfront Park. And they exceed the 2020 revenue by over $1.6 million. So, and any questions? Okay. Looking at our third slide, we see a comparison of year-to-date revenues to year-to-date expenditures. And we see that our total revenues exceed our total expenditures by approximately $2 million. This is slightly down from the same point last year. And in 2020, last year, revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $2.2 million. So they're close, but you know, the increased amount of expenditures this year being reflected there. Any questions about the park fund before we take a look at the golf fund? All right. Moving on to the golf fund. So in this slide, we see that year-to-date expenditures exceed the historical budget average by about $250,000. And this is due to many factors, but primarily reflects the variable costs from the very busy year at the courses this season. The busy year required a larger amount of temp seasonal, some catch up on maintenance that was done early in the season. And also one of the primary factors is water utility costs. They're quite high this year, and that's was also evident in 1400 in the Parks Fund, and that reflects the increased water usage from our hot dry year that we had this year. So to keep our courses in shape. So, and here, moving on to our next slide, we look at our revenues. Here we see the results of this very busy year. Actual revenues exceed the historical budget by over $1 million. Total revenue this year, and keep in mind this does include the facility improvement fee, exceeds the total revenues last year by about $945,000. And the proceeds, just looking at the facility improvement fee, exceeded last year by about $167,000. So it was again, both of these slides reflect the high levels of activity at our golf courses this year. Now, our third slide here, we see a comparison of our total year-to-date revenues to year-to-date expenditures. You know, as the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and this one is pretty dramatic. Our total revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $2.2 million. And the golf fund's year-to-date net revenues, expenditures minus revenues, exceed last year, the 2020 net revenues by approximately $600,000. So very good year at the golf courses this year. Any questions about the golf fund? All right. Our last slide, we take a brief high-level look at the state of the bond project, and we see that our total of expended and encumbered committed is about $67.6 million, and our balance is remaining is about $133,000. So again, reflecting we're drawing to a close in the bond fund. So any questions or concerns about anything being presented or the bond fund?
All right, well, thank you, Mark. Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's good to see that number drawing down as it is supposed to for the bond fund, and the other numbers going up as they're supposed to. Okay, so on to our committee reports. Mr. Chase, do you want to talk about urban forestry, which met?
Yes, hold on to your chairs. We had an urban forestry meeting. So this is the second one in a year and a half, so I'll just go over the highlights. First, I want to thank Katie and Chelsea for putting on just an awesome demonstration of everything that was going on in the fall projects. And I'll just kind of go over a few things, but urban forestry's been quite busy, and they're going to be really busy this fall. So first I did the Fairview Triangle, and I forgot what the other cross street was. So, and that's where they did a lot of planting over there in the neighborhood. Spokanopy has been going on really well. We've been planting lots and lots of trees around the city in all different areas. I'm just going to kind of skip around a little bit here. And the CAC, which is the Citizens Advisory Committee, they're in the process now of looking for a new chair. And just to kind of go over a highlight for our new board members, Urban Forestry Committee is not set up like all the rest of the committees. We can only have 2 members from the board, and the Citizens Advisory Committee has 3 voting members. So right now we have 2 members on the board, but 0 voting members for the CAC, but they're looking for a new chairperson. So hopefully by next month they'll have one in place. Katie went over the supplemental watering, which was real interesting. And because a lot of the places, a lot of the businesses around the city, or even abandoned houses that you see where there's dry, I'll call them street trees, where they're real dry street trees, a lot of it is because the water in those buildings were shut off. So these plants are not, and trees are getting no water, but they also have people going around with literally water bags watering plants and trees, trying to keep them alive. They had a big thing going on at Audubon Park this last weekend and Comstock Park, where volunteers came out from all different organizations to help plant new trees, which was and these just weren't saplings, these were actual trees that they were help planting. And the WSU Gardening Club, they came out to kind of help supervise. So that was pretty cool. I also asked if we could have an update on the Susie Stevens Trail. Well, I want to thank Jason and Katie and Nick for getting back to me so fast on that. That was great to hear back from them so fast. As a lot of us know the Susie Stevens Trail. Susie Stevens was a young lady that was killed in a tragic bus accident in Seattle many, many years ago. And her mom, Nancy McCarroll, donated $100,000 in her name to develop a trail. And this trail was, we thought it was going to be developed about three years ago, but it just hasn't gotten off the ground yet. And Nick sent out bids in August, got 0 bids. He sent out bids in September, got 0 bids. So Nick went ahead and contacted some of the contractors to find out what was going on. And basically it was, they just didn't have the time to go ahead and resubmit it. If we're not on a timetable, that we can just go ahead and, you know, hopefully that one of these companies will send out a bid, you know, for fall, for spring or even next fall. So hopefully this might go on. Jason sent me an email, which I want to thank him, which was another good idea, which maybe the city is working on some other kind of project in the general area where we can just piggyback onto that. And that would be a great alternative. And today, you know, when I went to meet a friend for lunch, and I don't know, Garrett, maybe you can jump in on this. Since it looks like this trail might still be a few years off, and Nancy McCarroll is getting older, and, you know, I'd really like to see her be able to see the her daughter's trail get named somewhere. So maybe if we can even go to Nancy and see, hey, instead of the Fish Lake Trail, maybe there's another trail that doesn't have a name that we can go on, or maybe another trail that does have a name that we can stick Susie Stevens' name on. Because today as I was going to lunch, I'm going over the Division Street Bridge, and I see it's the Sam Guest Thomas Foley Bridge. So I see that we can put 2 names on something. So that was just an idea to have, you know, just to kind of throw out there. Because like I said, I'd really like to see Nancy McCarroll being able to see her daughter's name up. Also, the historical trees, one was nominated. The address is 1118 West Cleveland, if anybody wants to drive by. And somebody from Urban Forestry and some volunteers are going to go ahead and go check that tree out and make sure that it meets all the specifications to become a historical tree. And just to end something else that came up and I thought was real interesting. I didn't realize if there's a car accident and somebody runs into one of our street trees, their insurance company is responsible for the damage of that street tree. So I found that was really interesting. And so that was a great meeting to have. I'm hoping we can still keep having some of these meetings. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Rick. And I got so excited myself that Urban Forestry met for the first time in a long time, I skipped over sustainability and didn't mean to. So Kara, before you think we forgot about you, would you like to present?
Sure, and it's absolutely no problem. Thank you for inviting me back to the Park Board, and I appreciate this opportunity. Since I have been here at least once prior, maybe twice, I'll try to keep this brief and leave time open for you to ask any questions. I'm just going to quickly share my screen, and when I came here prior, I think it was just in the very beginning of our process. We had just closed out our 6-month public engagement process around our draft sustainability action plan, which included over 30 workshops and public events. We had over 800 responses to our survey, and a lot of feedback that came into us via email. And we have since incorporated all that feedback into the plan, and the link is in your, the link to this website is in your agenda, so I don't need to share it with you, but if you're interested in reading the final edited plan, it's here on this Sustainability Action Subcommittee's website. There have been a few changes since I last came, but nothing substantial that I think would impact the Parks Board or the Parks Department. And we've been in close communication with Nick and Al from the Parks Department. So I think we've tried to keep that line of communications open. City Council is scheduled to vote via resolution or vote on a resolution whether or not to adopt the Sustainability Action Plan on October 25th during their regular legislative session that evening. And I was asked by Al, thought that it would be kind of a good overview to come here and talk to you a little bit about, just highlight briefly those parts of the plan that might be of most interest to the Parks Department and the Parks Board. Just as a reminder, these are our overarching objectives of the Sustainability Action Plan. It was a 2.5-year project, primarily driven by the Sustainability Action Subcommittee and City Council to not only build resiliency within our own communities, but also to address state mandated and locally mandated climate goals around greenhouse gas emissions. And throughout the plan, you'll see that we take equity very seriously. And so the idea here is to prioritize people who we think are going to be most impacted by our changing climate. The two chapters of this plan that I think this the Parks Board is probably most interested in is the Water Resource chapter and the Natural Environment chapter. And just before this meeting, I highlighted some of the areas that might be that might impact the Parks Department most, or the city. So within the water resources, when we're looking at this water resource number 6 here, this has to do with water conservation, where the Parks Department is already a huge advocate in creating conservation opportunities and finding ways to address this. So we often, when we're out in the public, we like to point to some of the things that the Parks Department is already doing to save the city millions of gallons of water per year. We've also heard a lot from the public that they would like to continue to see engagement opportunities that kind of align with environmental sustainability. And so one of the ways we could partner with the Parks Department going forward is to find additional opportunity for people in our community who might want to volunteer. And under the natural environment chapter of the plan, we're looking, let me back up just really quickly. This plan is a community-wide plan, and it is not only for city operations. So when we are talking about some of these strategies, we're looking at how we can bring our whole community together to move forward on sustainability-related initiatives. And so some of the things in here are specific to the city, but many of them are broader than just city operations. I wanted to point that out. So we're going to continue to look for funding opportunities, whether that's through state or federal funds, grant opportunities, public-private partnerships, those types of things. I mentioned that folks are looking for other ways to help be involved. And this Parks Department has already worked with City Council, start looking at things like, for example, repairing and restoration projects on city-owned land. So that's another example of a way in which the Parks Department could participate. The last thing I wanted to say here is this natural environment strategy number 4. The city is already doing a lot of work that should be applauded, but we're not great at pointing out what we're doing or why we're doing it. So some of what's in this plan is helping build awareness around our practices. So for example, the Parks Department has replaced some turf in Manitou Park to put in and demonstrate what low water landscaping might look like. And maybe there are ways and opportunities for us to promote that and help explain what we're doing in that situation and invite the public to imagine what they might do in their own landscape to conserve water. So that's all I've really prepared, but I'm really excited to hear what you all think and if there's any comments or questions on your end.
Well, Carol, what you just talked about an urban forestry, and that is the planting of trees, the looking after of trees, adopting a tree, working to increase, the canopy of our city helps to reduce those greenhouse emissions. I was also thinking that, when we have those xeriscape areas and in Manitou Park or other places, and I know Kelly Brown's on the call, and she's with Friends of Manitou, there's a program opportunity there to have some sort of a program for the public to come and learn with a guided tour or what have you about that kind of planting in their own yards and reducing water usage. So there is certainly a lot of partnering that we could continue to do. Thank you for your work on that.
Yes.
Sustainability is important.
Of course, I think that it's interesting that you brought that up because the Parks Department is one of the city programs or departments that the public gets the most excited about and finds the most connection with. And I think we've been collecting over these past 6 months quite a few suggestions of programs. One of them came up, thought that there could be ways to provide, like we do at the Corbin Art Center, some sort of outdoor summer program for children to learn how to grow their own low water garden. Maybe there's, in a container or something. So we've been collecting those and we'll be sure to share with our colleagues in the Parks Department as we move forward.
That's terrific. I bet Kelly Brown is taking notes as we speak. So terrific. Thank you for all that good work. Appreciate your input. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Maybe Garrett has a question.
I just have a comment, Tara. That's all. I just want to thank Tara for you involving the Parks Division and our staff from day one in building this program. And I think I can speak for all of staff that we feel pretty strongly that as a Parks Department, we should be setting the example and the benchmark for the city on the education and outreach and how and what type of programs and infrastructure that we put into our parks for conservation and sustainability. So looking forward to the future and just know that we're always here as a resource in that platform. So thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thanks, everybody. Yep, a lot of applause for you there on the corners of your picture, Kara. Thanks very much. All right. Well, speaking of successful programs, Jerry Sperling and Golf Committee are up next.
Thanks, Jennifer. Yes, it's always pretty easy to follow Mark Zinning and ask in what we see that's happening in golf and continuing to be just a part of the community that allows people to get out. And remember, enjoying golf is just like being at one of our parks. So we see that as a highlight. We did have 2 action items that came through, so I'll piggyback on that. Number one, we are finishing up one of our projects, and that would be at Indian Canyon Golf Course, and preparing that for its winter months. So anyway, the roofing on that, the HVAC, it's just helping us batten down that particular course and making it look really fitting for the era that it was built in. But now, just highlighting, people have a chance to swing by and stop for lunch. You can see the hard work that's going in there with the roofing and all of that. And the other thing, too, then, throughout the past few months, we've been working on budgets, and Mark Poyer's been very, very involved in that, presenting this to us at golf. So we are preparing for our winter season, and right now enjoying fall right up until the last minute. And we'll be seeing marketing information that will talk about stocking stuffers. we're way ahead of our time, thinking about December and how we can have things for families. And just a few real pluses to let you know, our junior golf, of course, is sparkling like it should be. One of the other projects that we are finishing right now, or I should say starting, is at Downriver Golf Course. And we are moving along as best we can. Right now, with COVID, we do have delays in some items, but we are moving through. Ben Nelson, the superintendent, was there and walked us through kind of where things are moving at this point. So the irrigation new system at Downriver Golf Course is in progress as we sit here tonight and talk about golf. So with that, I would like to remind the public that we do have golf meetings on the second Tuesday of the month, but we are doing everything by WebEx, but everyone is invited to join us. And our next golf meeting will be November 9th at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll see you all on WebEx. So thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jerry. Terrific. All right. Greta, Land Committee, I guess the meeting was canceled, but would you like to say anything? I am hearing nothing. All right. Well,
That, I have nothing to report on Land Committee. Our next meeting, however, is, well, it looks like November 3rd at 3:30 p.m.
coming up. Yeah. All right. Very good. And then Sally, I believe, is not here today, but I know that rec was canceled this month. It is meeting next month, and that will be also November 3rd at 5:15 via WebEx. Okay. Nick Sumner, Riverfront Park Committee certainly met.
Yes, we did. As we always do. We're the reliable committee. Just kidding. No, we always just have stuff to talk about, like we do today. So we have a couple action items, and the first one has to do with a change order that Barry's going to tell us about.
Oh, thank you, Nick. Let me pull this up here. It's the Stepwell project. So I hope you can see my screen. We have a change order for Bacon Concrete, who is our general contractor who we hired to actually manage the install of the Stepwell sculpture. On your screen is an image of, an artist's illustration of the Stepwell, and you can see how the inside of it here starts to create steps, and then also it's reflective of the the river gorge and that rises up out of the natural landscape. So it's a lot of natural materials in the natural landscape, and it'll be really striking, and it's under construction right now. What I'm going to show you just a few photos of the progress. The Cora and Bacon have been on site working this week, and they plan on wrapping that up quite literally in this weekend. So one thing that I presented to the committee was a schedule for the installation, which is taking longer than we had originally hoped. The first portion of the install process was about 14 pieces of the stepwell, and and also the anchors and what we call knife blades that support this structure. That was done back in July of 2021. The second install, which just completed, I think yesterday, was another 6 pieces here, and these are very strategic for the foundation of the stepwell. I'll show you a couple photos in a second. The phases 3 and 4 are more of building up the stepwell to a particular height just before what we call the bond beam. And the bond beam would be the last thing to go in, and that's scheduled out into actually late next year. And the reason is because once they get this installation part 3 completed, they're going to do a 3-dimensional image or survey of the stepwell so that they can compensate in their fabrication process any kind of deviations from plan because everything has such incredibly tight tolerances here. 3/16 of an inch is the maximum degree, separation or tolerance of any pieces. So with that, I'll show you where we were earlier. Actually, this was last weekend. So we arrived on site, opened up the area of Stepwell, and you can see a piece got loaded onto the ground there, and the fellows here are working around the foundation of what's called the knife blades. And what they're doing is they're waterproofing and cushioning the bottom of the stepwell. And what that does is help them make sure that it is absolutely level. Because as they go up in tiers, they need all of those tiers to be absolutely level compared to one another. And then this is where Bacon Concrete really comes in too by offering their machinery. In this case, Bacon didn't own a machine that would actually install this particular piece. They had to go and rent one, get it to the site so that these folks over at Quora could actually set it in place. Bacon also supports them with shipping containers and storage and that sort of thing, and a lot of logistics in terms of them coming from Wisconsin and working here. You can see them setting down this phase 2 into place here over in West Havermale, and then they start to finish the bottom. Once they get it leveled out, then they really start sealing it in. Then, once that's complete, they are also filling joints and other areas with a very specific epoxy. And so you can see them here pouring the epoxy in through a channel that helps this thing make sure that it is solid and in one spot. And they did this in multiple locations throughout the new piece and the existing piece. We've been watching the existing piece. It's been checking a little bit, which means just developing little cracks. There were very minor gaps between some of the chunks of wood, and so they injected epoxy into those areas too in order to make sure that it is absolutely as solid as can be before we go into winter. So you can see here again some more work that they've been doing with the epoxy. There's a fella in the back there also mixing it up as they are putting it in because it's a time-sensitive application. Right now, or well, as of yesterday, this is what we've got, what we're looking at. You can see it's starting to take form and shape. Quora's back in Wisconsin, still fabricating, still cutting and milling pieces so that they can be ready for the next big install, which is going to really bring this thing up. Part of the Riverfront Park Committee meeting, someone who was much more intelligent than I suggested that maybe we look into wrapping it like a boat would be wrapped in the winter in order to keep it protected from the elements. And Quora was all on board with that. So they went out and they got some wrapping material. And of course, that process is fairly simple. You basically string up the stepwell itself and anchor this wrap on there, then apply some heat. In the end, you get a solid cover that helps protect this and shed snow, shed water, protect it from the freeze-thaw process. And then we just tear it open in the spring and get going yet once again. But with all this, the delay of fabrication, the meticulous fabrication, the project was supposed to be done, last year. We hired, not last year, last summer. We hired Bacon Concrete to manage this project for us. Got a little bit out of their hands there with the work going on in Wisconsin and COVID and whatnot. So that schedule got elongated by if we go and install the last pieces in September of next year, then Bacon is on the hook for really an unforeseen condition where they have to have multiple more mobilizations, renting more equipment, fence rentals, so on and so forth. So they asked if the park board would be able to reimburse them for some of these extra costs. We have $40,000 in contingency funds for Stepwell, and Bacon is asking, and I've worked with them on this price and the scope. They're asking for $9,750 for the added work that needs to be done all the way through to next fall. With that, we'd have tax on top of that too. With the tax, it would be $10,627.50. I think it's fair. I think Bacon's doing a great job. Cora is still working very hard. It's coming along, but much slower than we really wanted to. Anyway, with that, I would appreciate your approval of a Bacon Concrete change order number 7 in the amount of $9,750 plus tax, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Berry? Otherwise, Nick, would you like to make the motion?
I will. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to accept change order number 7 for Bacon Concrete for the West Havermill Stepwell project in the amount of $10,627.50, tax included.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Hannah. Any further discussion?
Barry, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Barb.
It's nice to see it finally coming together. It'll be really spectacular, I think, when it's done.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Well, let's call for the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye, raising your hand.
Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Nick. All right,
you.
what else?
Thanks, Barry. So we have John Moog to speak about the 2022 Riverfront Park fees and charges.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick, and good afternoon, everyone. John Moog here, Director of Riverfront Park. Happy to bring this to you today. So what I'm here to present, let me share my screen really quick. Most of you should have seen this in your packet. These are the fees and charges that we have at Riverfront. As you know, and some of the viewers know, we have lots of attractions at Riverfront, and we sell venues to third-party organizers for events. And that is the main source of our fees and charges at the park. We update our fees and charges every 2 years. So it's been 2 years now, since 2019. Well, we last approached the park board in October of 2019, so it's been 2 years. And these are the fees and charges being proposed for 2022. But because we have a seasonal nature on the park, they would essentially take effect as of today so that we can open the ice ribbon with the adjusted fees and charges. So a couple of things we want to really focus on. I want to really bring to your attention that we always look for that balance between affordability to our community and recovering costs of delivering those services. And unfortunately, the cost of delivering those services has gone up. So I did a quick research today, and I looked at what minimum wage was in 2019 compared to where it will be at January 1st. And it's gone up 23%, from $11.50 an hour to $14.19 an hour. So that's a pretty big jump. And our attractions in particular, as well as our events, are staff heavy to support those organizers with their events, to clean up the park, and just to operate the Skyward and the carousel requires a lot of labor. So what I'm proposing here this year, I'm proposing some very minor changes that I believe will get us within a better window of cost recovery for our attractions. And they're minor, so if you have specific questions, I'll take them, but I'll just kind of scroll through and I'll try to call out the major adjustments. So in particular, the major adjustments really are going to be for the Skyride, where we're increasing the adult pass to $10.95 and the child admission to $7.95. We're kind of bringing up the admission here to 75 cents. for the ice and the skate rental by $1. We do have to replace skates annually. We have a lot of legacy skates, and we've been replacing those skates to make sure they are both safe and comfortable for our guests. Then going down to the adult pass, it's been some time since we've actually, the value pass here, it's been some time since we updated these, but since we're adjusting the base ticket rates on the individual items, the value pass has also increased a bit too. They are still over, in some cases, a 15 to 23% savings over buying the individual tickets individually, and so that's a good value. Not really, just a small change to the carousel. The unlimited day pass is up 50 cents, but the single ride will not change. The unlimited pass has actually been a very popular pass with our customers, and they continue to buy it all day for $7. So that's a great deal. Moving on to the event fees. This season, what we did is we went through and adjusted the rates by adding a 4-hour duration. We found that some more events want to pay less, and they didn't need a full day. So we're offering a 4-hour rental period that allows the events to come in here, save a few bucks, and be able to still offer their event at a discounted price. And so most of these changes in the events are around that category. You'll see a couple adjustments in the margins just on smaller adjustments. Mostly this is rounding because I'm trying to get the pricing to be a little bit more predictable instead of having like $14.19, for example. I'm trying to get it to be like $14.25 or something. So that sort of rounding. All right, so then going down here, you'll see that we actually dropped our prices quite significantly for the New America Skate Ribbon. In the past, we didn't want the skate ribbon to be rented during our prime use season, especially when we first opened. So we set this price at $5,000 because that was what we would have lost in revenue on a full night when we first opened. But that's no longer the case. It's no longer the newest attraction. So I think we can make it more affordable and drop the price. And so that's what we're doing. We're always looking to find that balance. Really, most of the changes in the venues are very not a significant change. The biggest change in the adjustment is going to be to the discount. I'm going to come down here to bring your attention to the fine print, so to speak. So we do offer our organizations, nonprofits, or actually we define our nonprofit community events as events that are promoted or sponsored by a civic, educational, religious, or charitable group organization within the state of Washington. And those events may qualify for event discounts. We're recommending reducing the discount from a 40% to a 35% event for free events open and free to the public, or those who are public fundraisers. So if they're doing like fun runs, if they charge an admission price, or they're doing some sort of, there's an entrance fee, more or less. Those are they still do get a discount, but they are less of a discount at 25%. So we reduce it from 30 to 25. So in general, those are the discounts. But we're also adding a couple new discounts this year. So one, you can still get the 50% discount if you're a new event to Riverfront, but that rate was intended to help be an incubator of new events. We want events to stay at the park. And so this year, we're tying it to a 3-year agreement. If you want that rate, that's great. The first year, you get the 50% discount, and then you'll get a 3-year agreement. And then, wait, there's more. On top of that, we're going to add an additional 10% discount for a minimum 3-year agreement. So we're really trying to encourage events to invest in Riverfront, and we want to invest in them through these discounts. So with that, I want to also share with you what our other promotions and discounts will be. You might be asking yourself, well, what are you going to do with these higher rates? So we do have standard rates. We have a 15% discount for people who purchase 10 tickets or more. And then we always have the 10% discount for military veterans, active duty, seniors of 60 plus, and AAA. Those are everyday discounts that we offer. across the board. And then then periodically through the season, we come up with different promotions and discounts. For the ice season, we're looking to bring back free ice skating lessons. We're looking for an ice skating instructor right now, so if you know one, let me know. But we plan to bring that back and provide free lessons to the community on the weekends, and skates, of course, are included. So that's an easy way to immediately get activated within the park and enjoy a park. We have Cheap Skate Tuesdays, so that's every Tuesday. You get a free skate rental, so based on the new rates, that drops it almost down by $7 right there. And we hope to have free food or special food promotions working with Lancer to help bring in that Cheap Skate Tuesdays. Group Ice Night. So Group Ice Night will be working with different community events and organizations rather, and they can bring their organization in, and we would help sponsor them, and that would also get the free skate rental, and the admission then drops from the prices I just told you to $5. So that helps reduce the price again and get more people activated within it. We also want to introduce Skate for a Cause. So Skate for a Cause works with organizations as a fundraiser. City can't give money away, but we can certainly offer discounts to organizations at a price which they can in turn resell and then help be a fundraiser for their organizations. And so we want to be able to either do it on site or they can buy their tickets ahead of time and sell them to their group as they need to help support their cause. We also want to implement a Riverfront loyalty program. So a loyalty program is kind of like a punch card, but it's year round, and it's $10 to sign up, but immediately you get a free admission ticket upon joining. You get one on your birthday, and then you 4 punches and you can get another free discount. So we want to continue people coming back to the park. We want to ensure that they invest in the park, and I think this is a great start of a program that would help the community continue to be a part of us. And then finally, like I started with the 50% discount for events, we want to offer a Riverfront Venue Grant Program. So this Venue Grant Program would be available to nonprofits and small businesses to encourage new and cultural events at Riverfront. We would see this as a grant as waiving fees, not giving money away, but we'd waive the fees up to a certain amount, up to $10,000 per year, to help start up those new events. We would also hope to partner with other local organizations that can offer resources to support that event so that we can be an incubator for new events coming in the park over time. So we're working on that right now. We have a lot of expertise in this area now. We've learned quite a bit over the years, and we can certainly give back, and we can assist them with marketing to help make sure their event is successful. So with that, that's just kind of the whole summary of what our fees are and what we plan to do. I certainly welcome any comments or questions on this. Thank you.
John, this is fantastic to see, especially those reminders of the discounts that are already in place, that loyalty program idea, the grant program. That is exactly the kind of thing we want for Riverfront Park. It's everybody's park. We want all the groups to try it out. So perfect, just perfect. If you could send that to all of the park board members so we can be promoting that in the community as we talk, make sure that we have it in hand, that would be great. Other comments, questions?
Jennifer, can I make a quick comment?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, John, I think that looks great, and I love the punch card idea. The one suggestion I would make, and this is just kind of the way I look at it, the Sky Ride. I've always felt like the cost is just a little bit higher than it probably should be for the value of the ride. And I know I'm somebody who, I tend to be a little cheap, and I tend to not want to spend $10 to sit on the Sky Ride. And so I would just imagine a lot of others who see it the same way. And that's just one area where I think maybe a little bit of a price reduction might actually be better, or an option for a cheaper pricing for, say, a group or a family. Because you think about 2 parents, 2 or 3 kids, I mean, you're almost spending $50 to ride the Sky Ride. And just thinking about how you can maybe accommodate that a little bit more would be the only real suggestion I would make. Otherwise, I like where you're going.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember. That's great input. And the Skyride is one of those polarizing attractions in a way. We get tourists that say, hey, that's an awesome value, and they don't blink an eye. And then we have locals that say, yes, it's a little expensive. And so, you know, finding that balance is a really hard one. And then when you're adding in the age of the ride, the Skyride is now 17 years old, and it's coming up on, it's already had significant maintenance done on it, and more maintenance needs to be done on it, which then becomes a very costly endeavor. And so, unfortunately, that particular attraction of all of our attractions is the most costly to maintain. As well as I'd like to say that, you know, you're right, the value of the ride should equate to the scenery of the ride and the view of the ride and the experience. In some cases, there is a cost of operations that makes it mandatory for us to recover that value, that cost.
Sounds like an opportunity for some fundraising. Nick, I'll give it back to you as chair of this committee.
All right. I would like to make a motion to accept the 2022 Riverfront Park fees and charges as presented by John.
I'll second that.
All right.
Any further discussion? No. Again, great job, John. Thanks for a great
Thanks,
presentation.
John.
Thank you. Pleasure talking with you today.
All right. Well, all those in favor of the motion to accept this as presented, signify by saying aye or waiting.
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Anything else, Nick?
Just a couple things. John presented the September operations report, really, you know, highlighting, again, a great year in spite of all the weirdness that has gone on with COVID and everything else. I think the concerts that we've had at Riverfront Park and the Pavilion have been, you know, a real positive highlight. You know, I understand Machine Gun Kelly was sold out, so that's amazing. And just to see the park continue to bring in new people and new events and that kind of stuff just really speaks to John and his team and everything that they've accomplished this year. And yeah, just looking forward to plans for 2022 and another great year next year. Our next meeting will be on November 8th at 4 p.m.
Great. Thank you, Nick. All right.
Jennifer, can I say something real quick?
Yes?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. John, how did you feel? I don't know if you were there for the Machine Gun Kelly concert, and as Garrett well knows, I worked this as a very part-time retired job. I was there at that concert, working there. How did you feel, or the feedback you got back from the Machine Gun Kelly concert?
If you were there, it was a very different concert than we've experienced in the past. There's a lot of energy and a lot of excitement. Concert goers were of a different age than our previous concerts, but there were also some older folks, and so the dynamic was different. It was a really cool concert from several levels. Like, we had the performance is just rocking, and you know, he had a lot of energy. He actually ran up to the elevated experience. It was just a really cool show. I didn't get to see it, but I hear there's some great photographs that are going around about it, so I got to see it. But we also had issues where we had more instances of drunken behavior than we've had at other concerts. We've had instances where the fence line, we've had more ejections from this concert than we had at others because of drunken behavior. And so we have to do a little bit better on working with security and bringing police officers into the venue earlier. Nothing seriously egregious happened, but there was that potential, there was a moment where staff felt concerned. And so it's that moment that causes us to take a break and say, this is a learning moment, a teachable moment where we have to say, we need to bring police in earlier, and now we know what that looks like, and we will do that. And so that's an important thing. The feedback I got, unfortunately, I did not attend that concert, was that a lot of people were on the floor. We can fit about 2,000 people on the amphitheater floor, but I hear there was close to 3,000 plus on the floor. So when you have that many people on the floor pressing against the stage and the event, that causes a little bit of a safety concern in my eyes, and so we need to follow up and do some after discussion debriefs on these events and figure out how do we continue to work towards improving a safe experience.
Yeah, thank you, because I felt the same way, you know, after I got done, because we didn't get the last people through the lines until well after 8, and they were lined up at noon, the front people in the line. So, I mean, the younger kids were very excited, and I know myself and my partner who were working, we had to literally pick up 5 kids, you know, they're probably between 18 and 23, who were just totally passed out. And I've never seen so many drugs and alcohol in my life that I saw at that concert. And talking to one of the police officers there, he said, this thing is so out of control. So I'm glad that you recognize that something needs to be done to help this out. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I appreciate you bringing that up. We are working with the police department. We've had a conversation after the event with them and heard their concerns as well. And there's also that balancing act between the fire department and the police department and which one has jurisdiction, and all that stuff gets into the weeds here. But we're going to work through it, and we're going to make sure something like this doesn't happen. We're definitely going to be increasing our police presence for other shows similar in size and type.
So, and I would say
thank you.
this is just one of many successful concerts we've had at the Pavilion this summer. And again, it's kind of the first season of the Pavilion because COVID didn't allow us to operate. It was empty last summer. So there is still a bit of a learning curve here with this and with these kinds of concerts. But in general, the feedback I've heard in the community is that the Pavilion is a fantastic concert venue, and that the park is all new and really revitalizing the city. So I've heard a lot of good things about that. Thank you.
And I totally agree. I mean, these kids, I mean, you're talking about like anything else in life. It's a few that ruin it for many. And probably 99% of those concert goers were just awesome people who behaved themselves and just there to have a great time. But I think, you know, like you said, John, to go over and, because I know like in our little pre-meeting, they were telling us about, Machine Gun Kelly. He said the last 2 concerts, he jumped into the crowd and started fighting people. Well, he didn't do it because we had enough people up front to stop any kind of fighting between the artists and the audience. So, and like Jennifer said, this is just the growing pains of these kind of concerts, and hopefully we've learned a lot from bringing in this kind of artist. Because I know all the other concerts have just been, I've heard nothing but great things about them.
Well,
thank you, Rick. I'm more than happy to talk with you after the meeting if you'd like to discuss it further.
Yeah, and Spokane, good folks. Yes?
Yeah, I would just like to make one highlight. John, kudos to your staff. The event for Jerry Quinn yesterday.
Yes.
Rain, shine, it just didn't matter. It was such a special thing for him and his family. And I think everybody, more people, had the weather been a little bit different, would have been there. But for those who maybe then caught it on television, it just, and this highlights some of the things we have talked about that we can do down at Riverfront Park, and just recognize some of these individuals who have spent so much time and energy on their behalf just to make something like this happen. So just kudos. And your special little touch with all the cookies that we've been on, I mean, those were just really wonderful. So anyway, thank you so much for all of your efforts. It was a wonderful event.
Yes, indeed.
You're certainly welcome. It's really a team effort. You couldn't do it without recognizing Jill Reeves for all her contributions setting up that event. Just a phenomenal work. And Jerry Quinn is really a community hero. And it's really awesome to have the opportunity to recognize a person who didn't know the extent of his impact 50 years ago, but today it's become an iconic structure in Spokane. And so it's just really cool.
That's right.
Think about it. You put that together very quickly. I mean, this was really special. So anyway, I just kudos to you and your staff. Thank you.
Very well done. Very well done. All right, so we're going to move on to Mr. Anderson and the Finance Committee.
All right. We did have an action item. We weren't quite as exciting as the concert, but we were close to it, I think, at times. Anyway, so we have an action item for the 2022 Parks Fund and Golf budget, and I believe Garrett and Mark are going to do a presentation on that.
Thank you, Bob. It's going to be the Garrett and Mark show. But again, I'm just the presenter. This is, believe it or not, this has been the fourth adoption of budget that I've been involved in as director. And I got to tell you, every year, I think we get better and better and more efficient. And I think that's a lot because of the commitment and teamwork that we have within our management team and our department heads, and then working with you and being transparent for our board. So thank you and appreciate all of that. And I think a lot of it is, again, the building blocks of what we've learned from and how do we expand that. And what you're going to see today when Mark goes through the numbers is we're going to be proposing an unbalanced budget with revenues over expenditures. And a lot of cases that's very unique in a line of business, but I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. What you'll see this year in our general fund contribution is not the historical average increase that we see year to year. We saw an uptick in that historical average increase to our general fund contribution, and a lot of that was because of some CARES funding last year that was booked under general fund. So then we get 8% of that then that comes into our budget. What we wanted to do as staff is to make sure that we budget to our operational historical average. So if we see that dip decrease in the future, that it does not affect our operations, and we can invest that one-time revenue to strategic projects like capital or deferred maintenance. The other component is around, our continued that core service model, and we started a baseline. We always need to know what that baseline is. What are those guaranteed revenues that we're going to have, and what are those guaranteed expenses we're going to have, and then building off of that building block. The other two is how we evaluate through what John has shared and what Jen does so well in recreation is how do we evaluate our programs, and that evaluation between revenues and expenditures and that investment that has the best bang for the buck, as you would say, of what that community investment is. And a lot of that isn't around revenue as well. It is our obligation as well to provide those services. So we want to make sure that we evaluate those type of programs and what type of positive impacts it'll have on the community. And then just touching on our priorities, the big one for us is, and we're in a good position to fill all current vacancies that will fit within our strategic obligations and goals for our 2022 budget. And that is great for us. There's a lot within operations that we'll be able to fill. And a part of that of operations is improving efficiencies around creating a cohesive, centralized look on our operations. So a lot of that, even though you won't see those budget movements, you'll see, recreation had a lot of operational duties in our sports complexes. That is going to be moving under the fold of general operations under Al, and some other efficiencies as well. And that was a big piece of our priorities as we were shaping this budget. A lot too is, we're almost 2 years within the pandemic, but having that benchmark and getting that level of service where we need an operation and getting back to historical levels around opening up our restrooms, making sure we have routine mowing, and actually maybe increasing that frequency of that mowing in 2022. Continue to grow our capital equipment fund to meet our needs. So you'll see We have increased our allotment for our leased vehicle program, equipment. So where we see those high dollar values in maintenance costs and repair costs, getting those older pieces of equipment out of our inventory and bringing in newer pieces of equipment that add to those efficiencies, and also a morale to our staff. Again, in our budget, another one is just continue building our great partnerships that we have to foster involvement, ownership with all the different recreation and park resources that we have in our entire system. And another piece of it too is you'll see proposed new positions. A part of that is succession planning to really build the strong team within this division and also give opportunity for staff to grow in our division as well. And then also you'll see is to include or to expand our inclusion and adaptive programming and volunteer operations across the entire division. We do such a great job in recreations, but now it's having that global lens across the entire system around inclusion, what those volunteer opportunities are, what are those grant opportunities in our division. Our staff does a wonderful job of applying for grants and being super successful, but a lot of that takes a ton of time and management, and to have one individual to be able to kind of shepherd that process, we see that as a long-term benefit. So with that, if there's no questions for me, again, this is our favorite time of the year. It really sets ourselves up for success in the future, and I'll have Mark just run through the crosswalk, and we'll be happy to answer any questions along the way.
All right, thank you, Garrett. What we'll present here is just a pretty high-level overview of looking at a crosswalk from our 2021 adopted budget to our 2022 recommended, what we're proposing for fiscal year 2022. A lot of this, Garrett has mentioned, we'll touch base or we'll touch over those. Looking at in 2021, our adopted revenues were $23.6 million. The changes that we made so far, again, as he mentioned, the significant change in our revenue was about a $948,000 increase in our general fund transfer. We also have an annual increase in our wastewater transfer and this is $13,000. We also adjusted revenues by about $197,000, which is reflecting we had 2 FTEs that are budgeted in the Parks Fund. They were working on the bond project, so their salaries and benefits were being reimbursed by the bond. Now that is coming to a close, we had to pull that revenue out. That will no longer be available. Now we also have a pretty big revenue adjustment from work. John went through detailed analysis of the budget. This reflects largely now that we're concessionaire for many of the services there, the revenues, a lot of that activity is moved into that pocket. So we reduced our to reflect that fact. And also we did in recreation. This is a revenue adjustment based upon addition of a new staff in recreation. So this is a anticipated additional revenues generated by the work of that staff person. And so this would, serves to basically offset a significant amount of the costs of that position. So we're looking at 2022 recommended revenues of about 23.9, almost $24 million. And are there any questions about revenues at this point? And we'll go through the adjustments to our expenditures on the other side of the ledger. So, all right. Our 2021 adopted expenditures were just slightly over $23 million with 99.36 FTEs. This line right here, I dubbed it salary adjustments automatic. At the beginning of the year, this is the starting point of the 2022 budget process, where there's a point in time of existing staff and their salaries are annualized for a 2022 anticipated cost. Now, this cost went down because we had so many vacancies. And when we have a lot of vacancy or a vacant position, when the system goes through that process, it is reset to beginning step and range and step. So we were, like I said, we were carrying a large number of vacancies, so that actually resulted in a net decrease in our salary base for the beginning of the budget process. Now, again, there are benefit adjustments or benefit assumptions that are built into the beginning budget. And there were some increases in medical and in retirement benefits. So that resulted in a small increase of about $38,000. I should mention at this time, there may be some additional increases between Park Board adoption and the adoption by the council in some of these assumptions. So, you know, again, our expenditure base could adjust a little bit between now and the final end of the process. So anyway, also I have here a number of called a contra elimination. This was actually a carryover from a couple of years ago. We got some new positions, and so in a process where there's typically a lag between the adoption of the budget in January when that position is hired. So we included a contra, which is basically a negative number that offsets that number to reduce our expenditures to reflect that fact. When you eliminate that contra, it basically results in an increase in your expenditures. Our interfund charges, these are general fund overhead, payments to our IT, risk management, a whole array of different interfund charges. They went up about $148,000. I would add that was significantly less than last year. Last year, they went up a lot more than that. So this was a relatively smaller adjustment compared to last year. Also increased utilities by $100,000. These accounts had not been adjusted for several years. So this reflects more accurately. I basically went back and looked at 3-year averages, really 4 years of averages, because last year was such an anomaly of our utility expenditures. So basically increased those. It also reflects really actual usage and some of our anticipated rate increases. Recreational operating increases every year. The division managers go through, look at their budget, make adjustments for changes in program, things that that just need to be shifted around. So, and also this includes one of the things that everybody was looking at this year was the increase in temp seasonal, which is going up about 80 cents an hour next year. So these were a net increase of several operating account adjustments in recreation. In park operations, they're temp seasonal, heavily dependent upon temp seasonal. We increased their temp seasonal budget by $24,000. So the next few lines look at the FTE adjustments that we have made in the budget. In recreation, we added a recreation aide, 1 additional FTE. And then also in park operations, which was a pretty heavy emphasis in the budget this year, we added a park caretaker, an irrigation specialist, and a parks foreperson for a total of 4 additional FTEs. So now then we also we reduced a position in Riverfront, assistant food and beverage supervisor. And we also, in a forestry supervisor, a 5th of that FTE is going to be dedicated to the golf fund and golf activities. And so that position is 20% or a 5th of that position is budgeted within the golf fund. We also have about a $400,000 change or reduction in riverfront operating accounts. Again, a lot of this entails, the shift in the budget from using a concessionaire for a lot of our food and beverage activities. And also, again, this is reflecting experience and looking at your budget and making adjustments within your operating budget for anticipated changes in your program. And budgeting is a learning experience, and as the activities and you participate in the activities, you realize where your budget adjustments need to be made. Garrett also mentioned an inclusion coordinator. We're going to be going through the process of reclassifying an existing position. So we budgeted an additional $25,000 for that position. Now, when that position goes through the process of being examined by civil service and HR, we have a $25,000. We anticipate that there'll be roughly a salary and a $25,000 salary and benefit increase for that position. We also budgeted $230,000 for a COLA reserve. There are several labor contracts that are up for renegotiation this next year. Now, typically when a contract is in place, that anticipated COLA increase or labor contractual increases are built into the salary line. So now, since some of those contracts expired at the end of last year and will be negotiated this year, those were not included within the increases in the salary lines, which is another reason we saw a decrease in that. This is an estimate, but this is a reserve that we set aside for when those contracts are renegotiated, that budget authority is available for those increased salary costs. And then, as also Garrett mentioned, we have an increase of about $181,000 for vehicles, our vehicle lease pilot program, and for additional lease purchase of equipment in park operations and at Riverfront Park. So that's the largest, or that's the primary changes within the operating budget. Those changes within the expenditure line gives us an expenditure of $23,660,000 and 102.16 FTEs. Now, Garrett mentioned this is an unbalanced budget. Our revenues are about $307,000 over our expenditures. And as again, any additional revenues over expenditures become part of the fund balance and our fund balance reserve for anticipated costs or increases in costs in following years. So that is a very quick and overview. Are there any questions or comments about the 2022 budget or the changes within the budget?
Thank you, Mark. Just something to keep in mind, of course, I've said this before, but we will continue to see the impacts of COVID and the shutdown and the elimination of programs last summer for a couple of years. Our draw from the city fund of 8% is always 2 years in lag. And so in 22 and 23, we will continue to see the impacts of that shutdown. So the 306 is going to be a big help. Certainly may not cover all of the bases when it comes to sort of the bottoming of the trough that we're going to experience, but just be prepared for that.
That's correct. Thank you. I think most of your committees have really looked at the also included in your packet is a comparison or roll up of each of our major operating division. I probably don't need to go through each one of those. And this has not changed, or these numbers have not changed since last month's presentation. that was circulated. We do have, in this one, this particular slide here shows our roll-up of 1,400, breakout of our different proposed operating costs and revenues, and also the Gulf Fund. We're adopting basically a balanced budget for the Gulf Fund. This particular presentation on this slide does not include the facility improvement fee. We broke that out because facility improvement fee funds are reserved strictly for debt service on the SIP loans for the construction and improvement of the irrigation systems. So, and this also reflects the revenue from the adopted fee increase. So we're looking at $3.9 million of revenue. We've already exceeded that through September. So, hopefully that next year is as good or better than this one. We are beefing up some of our operating accounts for better maintenance or more budget available for better maintenance throughout the year. We're also beefing up our capital budget in the Gulf Fund, increasing that by $100,000 for much needed deferred maintenance and maintenance costs that we will have at the golf course. So overall, we're asking to adopt a budget that is basically balanced, about $2,000 more of revenues over expenditures. So that pretty much concludes the very high-level interview or review of the budget. Are there any questions on any of these numbers or anything that goes into these numbers? So.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Certainly the efforts you and Megan and Garrett put forth with bringing the budgets early to the various committees certainly helps make it more understandable for tonight's, presentation. I think the lack of questions goes to show the explanations that you guys give us throughout the last 2 to 3 months. So if no questions, I will move that we approve the 2022 Parks Fund and golf budgets as presented.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
Great.
Any other questions or comments? If not, go ahead, Jerry.
Bob, I just have a comment to
Please.
Mark. And, over the years, the budget has been presented in a variety of ways. But I think this is so thorough. And like Bob said, on our various committees, you have just put forth, a yeoman's effort of making sure that we understand where we need to be. So, and just appreciate the new changes, Garrett, via what's being accomplished in the Park and Rec Department. So I do appreciate all that.
Thank you, Jerry. Any other comments? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hands.
Aye.
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 All those opposed? It passed unanimously. Well done, budget people.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Certainly, you're welcome. So the Finance Committee did meet on Tuesday, October 12th, and we had the one action item that we just passed now. So Park staff has developed an efficient template for annual budget crosswalks from the prior year, and that works well in a governmental funding environment. Base budget amounts are transferred from the prior year, with known revenue and expense revisions then factored in. An area to look at this year certainly will be the 80-cent per hour increases to minimum wage, along with an uncertain hiring base, salaries due to competitive employment market. We found out this year that we were having to offer higher than minimum wage to find employees, and it looks like that will be continuing again next year. Parks has 4 new positions included in the 2022 budget, and some budget savings should be realized from these due to the time required to fill new positions. It's unlikely any of these positions will be filled by the start of the budget year in January. Mark Bunin reviewed the monthly financials through the end of the third quarter, and Parks is again on course to have a successful financial year, adding to the reserves. The next finance meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 9th at 3 p.m. via WebEx.
Thank you, Bob. Why don't you go right into Development and Volunteer Committee?
All right, the DVC committee met September 27th at 3:30 via WebEx. And at least in my thoughts, it was our most productive meeting based on member involvement and topics discussed. Pamela provided an excellent recap of the DVC meeting in the minutes, and I encourage all to read those. You probably don't want me to read them all to you. So the primary objective of this meeting was to take action and move past discussions. The DVC was developed to encourage and facilitate activity, but developing the process and recruiting members took longer than most of us envisioned. My thanks to all the members who share the passion and realize the potential of all that we can accomplish. So the committee decided to host a kickoff event at the Carousel Meeting Room on October 28th at 4:30. Invitations will be sent to selected community groups, which will allow us to introduce the DVC and the activity channel through it down to the CAC and the Friends groups. A pre-event meeting on October 11th was scheduled to discuss and develop plans for this kickoff. Recently, we had a request to discuss starting an Adopt a Park program, which was sent to the foundation and forwarded to the DVC. A meeting with Pat and Kristen Fulmer has been scheduled for October 27th to discuss their thoughts regarding Franklin and Clark Parks. This is exactly the type of opportunity that DVC was created for. So our next scheduled meeting for the DVC will be Wednesday, November 17th at 3:30. But as a reminder, we do have the October 28th kickoff at the Carousel Meeting Room, and we would love to see a lot of people there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. My president's comments will simply be one statement, and that is that the Jerry Quinn event proved that one person can really make a difference in your city, in your city's life, your city's skyline, in the presence of history in your city. So if you think you want to get involved and you're only one person and you think I can't do anything, you can. Jerry Quinn is proof of that. He even thought he hadn't done a very good job for a while, and then he saw how people rallied around the clock tower and how it's become such an important part and a landmark in our city. So thank you to Jerry again. And again, I encourage all of you who are thinking that you'd like to make a difference, you're not sure that you can. Meet with Parks, get involved, create a friends group, and you'll find your influence is quite broad. So I'm going to move into Conservation Futures. Greta, do you have anything you wanted to say?
I do. I have just a short report. The Land Committee toured 8 properties on September 14th. They're all lovely. We wished that we could recommend purchasing all 8 of them. We scored based on some set criteria. We each individually scored the properties, and then we met together to combine our scores and to combine the committee member scores and also the scores of Parks staff and some biologists and other experts, and developed a preliminary rank list. And now the staff are going to evaluate the properties on that list. We'll meet again next week to develop a final list, and hopefully that list will be approved by the county commissioners in November. And I'll have something more exciting to report.
Very good, Greta. Thank you. All right, Barb Ritchie, Parks Foundation, and I know Terry's on the call as well.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I am pleased to share the platform with Terry Fortner as your liaison for the Parks Foundation. So, believe it or not, there is a lead gift, which is very secret and we can't talk about it, for the dog park. So that's super exciting, and she'll know more and be able to share hopefully in December. And also, they welcomed some new board members. So Wade Scherten-Lieb, I didn't want to pronounce that, but he's moving up from Finance Committee to be a board member, and Annie Blake Burke from Desautels Hagee's also a new board member for them. Dana Harbaugh is actually re-upping for another 3 years. So super excited that they have a full board complement. Also, the Parks Foundation celebrated 70th year, right? And that was on October 7th, and so they did a fundraiser for that. And that was virtual, unfortunately, but hey, we can maybe re-up and do it again next year live. So Brick West Brewing is also stepping up, and they started a fundraiser on October 7th through the month of October with the final event on October 23rd for the dog park. So a lot of emphasis around the dog park. Spokane Cops Paws on Patrol also hosted a fundraiser on September 30th for the dog park as well. We love our animals here in the area, so super exciting. And I would just like to give the rest of my time over to Terry because she does such a much better job updating all of you in the community than I ever could. So Terry, have at it.
Well, Barb, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to those of you who participated in the birthday bash. It really and truly was a successful launch of our 70th year as the Spokane Parks Foundation, and we could not have done it without so many board members and community partners. Our illustrious park board president, Jennifer Ogden, did a fabulous job talking about Riverfront and Mega Splash, and just we couldn't be more grateful. So thank you all very much. As we are moving forward, our grant cycle, as you may or may not be aware, is open, and we're currently receiving letters of inquiry. The last date and time to have one of those sent to us, it's actually to me, Terry at SpokaneParksFoundation.org, is November 26th, and midnight is the time. And just to clarify, I will not be sitting there at midnight waiting for the last one to come in. I'll probably check them the following day, but that's just because of my advanced age. So if you would know of community groups or organizations out there that are looking to do something for parks, recreation, trail enhancements, conservation, preservation, whatever it may be, please encourage them to go to the Spokane Parks Foundation webpage, and it's honestly done. Honestly, it's SpokaneParksFoundation.org/grants. And as always, my cell number is there, my email is there. If people have questions, they're not certain that they qualify, have them call me, reach out to me. We love to have the opportunity to work with people and ensure that their success, specifically with the letter of inquiry phase, because if that part doesn't go well, then, a lot of times you're not invited to submit a full grant. Garrett, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you so much to your very capable staff. On the front end, they consistently reach out and ask, what is the best way to do this? And so one of the things we've been able to do in the last 5 years is really streamline the process for our largest municipality partner, in that they can work as a team and put together their list of wants and needs, create the budget around it, and really go through and define what it is that they're hoping to accomplish. As most of you are aware, our bold vision for the future includes increased accessibility, inclusivity, and creating equity in this community. And the only way for us to be successful in living that mission is truly through these partnerships through our community grants process. So if you have any questions, let me know. If there are other groups out there, please put them in touch with us, have them go to the webpage. And just thank you to everyone, all of our friends at the city, for all that you do to help us succeed. And the dog park stuff is pretty darn exciting, and I wish this is so just difficult for someone like me. I'm not good at secrets, okay? My husband ends up with 4 or 5 secret surprise Christmas gifts every year because I can't keep it together. So I want to thank Garrett also for lending his support as well as his time to help me facilitate a discussion with this organization's board, and appreciate all of the resident experts. We are well on our way and looking forward to completing all the fundraising and having a beautiful world-class dog park at Riverfront Park.
What a thing to look forward to. Thank you very much, Terry and Barb.
Thank
and
you.
both
Thanks,
did
Barb.
great. You both did great. So Councilmember Cathcart had to leave early. He did not have a report, so we're going to move right into Director of Parks and Rec, Garrett Jones.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Gosh, what a rock star team in Park Board. First off, thank you again for the budget. I mean, us budget nerds, this is a huge deal. And I think, you know, we're going to celebrate in our nerdy way tonight, but thank you. It's a big deal for us, and it really puts us in the right direction. Some other great updates. Comstock irrigation replacement is underway with that great tree replacement and planting project, and all the partners there. And the thanks to City Council for help funding that irrigation project from the windstorm that we had at the beginning of 2021. Again, I know it's been said numerous times, but can't thank enough for all the work that was done on the Quinn Clock Tower event that we had. Staff was up late the night before with a big old concert, and then we were ready to go that morning for that event. It was an awesome event, and I know Bonnie and both Jerry were very emotional about that as well, and very thankful for all the efforts. Another piece too, just to let the board know, I'll have the great opportunity to be able to join our general contractor, Garco. We won the Design Build Project of the Year last year for the pavilion, and we're going to be going to Colorado for a day to speak at a conference of what the success was and how we came up with a successful project in the pavilion to give insight for others that are hoping or looking into what a design build project looks like. Also, a couple plugs too with the master plan process. I would still, encourage anybody to go to SpokaneParksMasterPlan.org for the click and drag opportunity. We're getting a ton of great feedback on that tool, that interactive tool where you can drag to any park or not a park within the city and comment on that, on what we can do better, what opportunities there are in the community. We're looking forward to the next open house workshop in November to be able to, again, update the public on where we're at with all these great findings that we've had thus far. Some other just general updates. I had the great opportunity to sign some closing documents for the Beacon Hill and the Rayner property. So we're 95% there with all the property purchases to have that direct connection from Esmeralda Golf Course to Kansas. So a huge success, over 12 years in the making. And it's great to see that. If you haven't had a chance to walk by the Vietnam Memorial, it is truly taking shape and looks phenomenal. And we're looking forward to that rededication for Veterans Day in that Vietnam Memorial in Riverfront Park. And also just to look forward to in November, a couple items that we'll be bringing your way. One will be, we held off during COVID, but one of the proposals we got from Design Workshop was around the operational and funding opportunities and strategies around our division and what opportunities we should look for and what type of templates we build. So we'll be bringing that amendment to the Park Board in November to add that service to our master plan, which will be very valuable for us in the future. Also, pretty exciting, working on an interdepartmental agreement with Public Works and Parks that we'll bring to you in November. That'll be a long-term 10-year funding stream to the Parks and Recreation for water conservation projects. So a great partnership, and we're looking forward to sharing that with the board in November. Also with another partnership is an MOU that we're working on with the school district that will identify 3 major areas around utilizing our findings of our master plan, informing a timeline, and the commitment from the school district in the capital investment and resources for a future dog park within the system of the city of Spokane. So looking forward to that too in November. So it'll be another busy month. And with that, that's the end of my report.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order? If not, we will adjourn the meeting. It's been a long meeting. Thank you everyone for your time. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks,
Hi, everybody. Thank you.